Hello and welcome to another video from the Fan Pub. Hello Sean,
It's
you
good
right?
to be back. Yeah, and what's the target today? We're doing a list of 12 PPR.
Yeah, 12 PPR late round sleepers or late round flyers if you want to call it that.
What's the criteria for this? You've got to be above 100 on today's Fantasy Pros.
Basically, we've looked at the rankings on Fantasy Pros. These are people that are going, got an ADP of 100 or later. So
Yep.
ADP is average draft position.
So depending on league size, you can quickly calculate where you would go with
So
this,
these are people you can pick up late in your drafts. It could be game changers. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
let's start with the first one. Chris Carson's going at 107.
super value here, isn't it? I mean, with all the talk on Penny, you've got to feel really good about this guy. You've been a bit of a fan of his for a while. Tell us why you like him particularly. What is it about him that meets that eye test that you recommend so much?
Well, I picked on him up on him early last year, as a few of us did in the Fan Pub, and it was mainly the sort of the noise that was coming from camp about how good he was and what a beast he looked. When it's coming from Pete Carroll and from sort of legends from Doug Baldwin and the right sort of people saying the right sort of things about him. Obviously, you've got Penny in there, but Carson looks like, for all intents and purposes, he keeps saying that Carson's actually got the job. So if you're getting a starting running back
in a team that's likely to throw a lot because they don't have an offensive line and the running game is a little iffy, then you've got to be able to come out of the backfield and catch it. You certainly can do that. So sky's the limit. The upside's massive, and at 107, that is game changing. That's a great one to have on the list to start the ball with. Yeah, 100% okay with that.
Okay, well, our second one on the list is James White from the New England Patriots.
Yeah, this is almost a de facto non. This is so obvious, isn't it? And that's amazing. He's still so late in PPR at 117. I'm shocked.
Yeah, so ADP of 117. So again, not paying a high price. He's going to catch a load of passes. They've shown that in pre-season. He's been there for years.
Did it in the Super Bowls. He's done it in key games when it counts. And the thing that's interesting with him at the moment is the more the season is getting closer, the more his value should rise because players aren't living up to hype, aren't delivering, and he's like, just because of natural progression, he's ending up getting closer and closer to the top job here. He could end up stealing running work as well as receiving work. I think that's fabulous in PPR.
These sort of players can be invaluable if you've got someone go down. He's ideal for PPR, and he's on a high-powered offense.
Never forget that somebody is going to break out of this group in the wide receivers, but there are some consistencies in New England that always happen, and James White is one of those PPR guys who always does well out of this. He'll do very well again this year, maybe even more than people think. Great one to have on the list.
Okay, our next one's another running back. So we've got 6 running backs and 6 wide receivers for you. It's Aaron Jones. Obviously, he's suspended for the first 2 games, so that's reflected his price, which is 135.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, I mean, I can see why we've added him on the list here because A, the price is perfect. Secondly, by just looking at the tape on the guy, he is the more natural running back. His blocking is the thing they're working on and improving. If he gets that right, then there's a potential 3 down back.
He's very electric if he does play.
So he can make a couple of really good catches out of the backfield and turn them up.
In a 12-team league, you're talking round 12.
Oh, you can't knock that.
This is
fabulous value down here, and in PPR, this guy could really win you a league. We've seen what happens when Green Bay take a running back and get behind him and believe in him. We saw that with Eddie Lacy for a couple of seasons. He was elite. This could be another situation. A lot of people like Aaron Jones, and at that price, that's a throwaway pick. I'm happy to take that all day long.
Okay, our 4th pick is Corey Clement. He's someone that Sean likes a lot.
Yeah,
and his ADP is 148.
If you've seen the bold predictions list, I go into a bit more detail about why the Eagles will be using him a lot this year. And I think in PPR it's so obvious this is a team that matches up. They've got this formula for RPOs where they are cutting edge. Really, that's how the Eagles won the Super Bowl, is finding mismatches, exploiting them offensively. Corey Clement came into his own in the Super Bowl. He was fantastic in the Super Bowl.
100 yards receiving.
He looks great in pre-season. He got knocked, which has really helped drop his PD. There's no major
ADP,
injury.
Yeah.
This is minor, and it's also a good sign that the team are saying, "Oh, you know what? You don't have to worry. Wait till the season." That tells you much they love the guy, because if they had any doubts, he'd be back in practice. He'd be out there now fighting for your job. He's sneaky value here.
Again, another reason I like him is because you listen to any of the camps, and we research this a lot. We do a lot of research, and the camp, they all love him there. He's a fan's favourite. The fans all love him. If there's any ever comments about him, even on Twitter, and you know what Twitter's like, people love him. The fans love him. So this all helps when you've got a player that could make a breakout.
And if you look at his ceiling, right? So you look ahead of him. Obviously, he's not a 3-down back in essence, but JJ is not exactly without question marks. You're paying such a low premium for Corey Clement. If anything happens to Jai or it just doesn't work, this guy could find his way into a lot of work.
Round 13.
Lot of work. That's championship, potential championship team.
He's somebody you could be happily playing in your flex every week.
I'd definitely taken him out of ADP position. I don't recommend you do that, right? But if you've got a league, because a lot of your friends may not know this, so if they're not paying attention to a player like this, you capitalise on it. But I got a funny feeling I've been doing it because I got a feeling they might catch up, but I don't want them to catch up. I want to get a player and then maybe I'm inflating his price, but I don't care. I want him.
Another player, another running back, he's going at 152. It's Matt Breeder from the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, you've been a big fan of his for a long time.
I'm a massive fan of Breeder's, yeah.
Yeah, and I've grown to like him a lot and appreciate what he brings to the table fantasy-wise and in real life. Obviously, that helps. Yeah, he's tough, isn't he? He's one of the really tough player.
Well, think of the things going for him. He's playing on the 49ers under Shanahan. I mean, Shanahan was responsible for the Freeman and Coleman situation where they were both sort of playable in fantasy.
He likes the dual back kind of threat, doesn't he? Thunder and lightning kind of abilities.
Yeah, so you might be talking 1A, 1B there, and if you are, then Breeder's a massive steal.
Then he's got the capability of Tevin Coleman, which gets picked maybe 7-8 rounds higher. I mean, it's just awesome.
You've got Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he's made such a big difference to the...
And his current ADP sits as of today...
He's 152.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you can't turn that down. That is just too valuable. You have to grab pieces like these players. I'm 100% comfortable with a player like that. And he wouldn't be a player I'm likely to drop. I would agree with you. Good feeling, great opportunity. Great for PPR.
Okay, and our last one, he's really deep, and he shouldn't be this deep. I mean, he's a plodder, okay, he's a plodder, but the situation is concerning him, makes him a good bold play late on. We're talking Chris Ivory. He's going an ADP of 214.
Just ludicrous. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, let's look at the. I mean, Buffalo run the ball a lot. It's cold. They run the ball probably more than anybody else over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. So if he gets the job, then you're talking big points.
And to be honest, this is like one of these really weird situations where it seems obvious that Sean McCoy is this great running back and everything else, and we understand that. But there's a huge question mark hanging over.
There's red flags all over the place.
So if you look at the red flags, there's two in my mind. The more serious one, of course, is what's happened in the off season. Now I don't know what's happened, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, which is worrying. The commissioner will have to make a call, similar to what he had to do with Elliott. There's every chance he has to suspend this guy, put him on the exemption list. Yes, it could be appealed, but this could rumble on. This could go on. Do you need a player like McCoy, or would you rather have Ivory, who you could have picked up literally in your last pick, who then has a starting job? I mean, you don't get many opportunities
even in
like
deep
that.
leagues. He's 214. He's worth a shot.
Definitely worth a punt.
You could look at a lot of players. Do you want to worry about McCoy all year?
No.
He could go at any time. It was a bit like Zeke last year.
I would absolutely be happy to take this guy because I just think that he's a player you stash, you see what happens, and you know what? If he ends up being your 4th or 5th running back in the end, who's actually a running back who could play all the time in PPR, that's game changing for you.
I mean, there is another guy. I think it's Marcus Murphy, who could be in the mix as well. But if anything happens to McCoy,
but the odds are this guy gets the first crack.
Yeah, because he's the experienced professional.
Good list.
Okay, so I think probably what we'll do, because this video has been long enough and people like them short, we'll end this one here for the running backs, and then we'll do a follow-on video for the wide receivers if you want to watch that.
So like and subscribe and come and follow us on to the next video.
And thanks for watching.